Hi, my name is Tim Rodden, and I am a special education teacher at St. Mary's High School in St. Mary's, Kansas. For my observation portfolio, I observed teachers at the early childhood, elementary, middle, and high school levels. Um, the schools that I observed were St. Mary's Grade School and St. Mary's High School. Both of the schools neighbor each other, so that was very convenient, and a lot of the faculty and staff are very familiar with one another and very familiar with each program, so that was helpful throughout the process. As far as what kind of stood out to me at each level, at the early childhood level, I thought Miss Spradling's use of manipulatives when she taught her students was interesting. She used things like colored circles, pictures to kind of keep kids engaged, and from what I thought, it was very effective. And she also used some kinesthetic learning too, physical learning, which I thought also was a very good tool to use. The elementary level, I thought how often Mrs. Salisbury provided positive reinforcements for her students to kind of keep them motivated was interesting, and I think that's definitely something you can use at all levels, and it's also an effective way to teach. At the middle school level, Mrs. Moore did a lot of kinesthetic learning as well, kind of similar to the early childhood level. She's a big believer that a lot of her students in particular learn well physically, and I thought while I did my observations, it was a good way for those particular kids to learn, and it seemed like they were taking a lot away from the lesson. At the high school level, I thought it was very interesting how Mrs. Hurla kind of matched her demeanor with the kids, the two particular students she was teaching. These particular students are very kind of low-key and calm and soft-spoken, and that's not exactly Mrs. Hurla's personality, but she kind of believes that in order for her to be on the same page with these students, she kind of wants to match their tone and their attitudes, so she tries to do that as much as she can with them. As far as the transitional needs go, the early childhood level, some of the particular students that Miss Bradley and I talked about, with a lot of her students, they're trying to figure out whether or not these students need to remain in special ed when they move on to kindergarten, or whether or not they need to, or they can go into the general education setting. And it's also time for schools and parents to figure out if a particular student needs to maybe repeat another year of preschool just to get caught up and stay at that learn it at that level that might be beneficial to them just one more extra year. At the elementary level, important transitional needs, things to make your child aware, the constant changing of teachers each year, maybe some of the classmates you're going to have, maybe homework. Middle school level, you're going to have lockers, maybe the size of the school overall, and having multiple teachers. At the high school level, I know Mrs. Hurley and I talked about job skills. Those are very important. Social skills, time management, also workload management. Those are all important things to take into consideration when kids are transitioning. As far as my biggest takeaways go, all grades levels I think can benefit from kinesthetic learning. Positive reinforcement can work for all ages, and how necessary it is to adapt to different learning styles. Those are all important things, I think. And then I think things I can use in the future, try to incorporate things I learn at each level and use it when I work with my high school age kids. I thought there were more similarities than I really expected at each level. So overall, I thought it was a very good experience, and I enjoyed my time observing all these instructors. Thank you.